All right, we're about to explore a masterpiece that's kind of hiding in plain sight. It's a building that holds the true ancient heart of Barcelona, and it's layered with stories of saints, kings, and, believe it or not, geese.
So let me ask you something. When you picture the great Church of Barcelona, what's the first thing that pops into your head? I'm willing to bet I know. Probably a forest of these impossibly tall, fantastical towers reaching for the sky, right? A work of surreal genius that's been under construction for over a century.
And yeah, while the Sagrada Familia is absolutely breathtaking, it's not actually Barcelona's cathedral. The real seat of the archbishop is right here, tucked away in the winding medieval lanes of the Barri Gòtic. This is the city's soul, and its story is so much older. To really get this place, you kind of have to become an architectural archaeologist. We're going to need to peel back the layers of time, starting right from the very beginning. I mean, just look at this timeline. The history of this exact spot is incredible. We start with a Roman-era Christian basilica, way back in the 4th century. After invasions and destruction, a Romanesque temple goes up. Then, in 1298, King James II kicks off the grand Gothic project we see today. It took 150 years just to build the main body, and that dramatic facade you see from the plaza? Yeah, that wasn't even finished until 1913. This building is a living, breathing document of the city's history.
Okay, now for the fun part. Let's step inside the walls, where some of the cathedral's most curious secrets are waiting for us.
As you walk into the quiet, sun-dappled cloister, you'll probably hear them before you see them. It's a flock of geese, just talking away by their little pond. It seems totally random, but trust me, there is a very specific and really important reason they're here. And the key, the whole point, is their number. There are always exactly 13 of them.
Each one of those geese represents a year in the life of Saint Eulalia, the young Roman girl who became Barcelona's co-patron saint. At just 13 years old, during the brutal persecutions of Emperor Diocletian, she was martyred for her faith. So the geese are a living memorial to her bravery and how young she was.
But here's a fascinating little twist to the story, a bit of historical detective work. Scholars now think that the legend of Barcelona's Eulalia might actually be a local version of a very similar and historically documented story of another Saint Eulalia from the city of Mérida. It kind of seems like Barcelona wanted its own powerful local martyr, and so a legend was born and woven right into the city's identity.
So beyond the geese, the inside is just packed with other treasures. You have to take a moment and just admire the choir stalls with their incredibly detailed 15th century carvings. Then, and this is important, look up. The ceiling is held together by 215 unique vault keys, and each one is a little painted sculpture telling its own story. And of course, you have to go down to the crypt to see the stunning alabaster sarcophagus of Saint Eulalia herself, resting right beneath the high altar.
All right, now let's talk about the building itself, because this isn't just any old Gothic cathedral. It's a perfect example of a very specific, very regional style of architecture. This is Catalan Gothic. So forget what you know about those sky-high, delicate structures you see in Paris or Cologne. Here, the goal wasn't just to reach for the heavens. It was to create a huge, unified, and almost simple interior space for the people. It really reflects a different priority, less about a divine hierarchy and more about a grand hall for the community. And this chart illustrates the difference perfectly. So International Gothic, think Notre Dame, is all about verticality with these massive flying buttresses on the outside to support all that height. But in Catalan Gothic, the buttresses are pulled inside the building, which creates all these wonderful little side chapels. The roofs are flatter, the decoration is more restrained, and the naves are often nearly the same height, creating one enormous unified hall instead of one towering central space.
And hey, even the decoration has a practical job to do. You see those fantastic gargoyles? They're not just there to look scary and ward off evil. They're the original, super ornate drainage system, channeling rainwater away from the precious stone and protecting the whole structure.
So, the gargoyles are part of the building's practical stone skin. But to find the true foundation of the sacred place, we've got to peel back not just the stone, but the centuries. You see, the story here doesn't start in the Gothic era. It goes much, much deeper.
And I mean that quite literally. To find the true origins of this sacred spot, we actually have to go underground.
That beautiful plaza you walk across to get to the cathedral? Imagine this. You're walking on top of history. Buried right underneath your feet is a huge section of Barcelona, the original Roman city that would one day become Barcelona. Each generation literally built on top of the last. And the best part is you can actually visit it. Right next door at the City History Museum, you take an elevator that takes you down 2,000 years. You can walk the original Roman streets and see the foundations of their homes, a laundry, even a winery. It's the largest Roman excavation outside of Rome itself, and it proves that this spot has been the center of life in Barcelona from the very, very beginning.
Okay, so you're ready to see it all for yourself, right? Here's a simple checklist to make sure you have the perfect visit to this incredible site.
First off, you have to go find those 13 geese in the cloister. It's a must. Then, head down into the crypt to see Saint Eulalia's tomb. Absolutely take the elevator up to the rooftop. You'll get some of the best panoramic views of the entire Gothic quarter. As you wander the streets around the cathedral, keep your eyes peeled for sections of the old Roman wall. And finally, you've got to complete the journey by going underground at the Muba to walk through ancient Barcelona.
You know, standing in that plaza with a Gothic cathedral in front of you and a Roman city right beneath your feet, you just have to wonder. In a city that has constantly reinvented itself on the same sacred ground from millennia, what other secrets are still waiting down there to be discovered?